Hello folks, I'm JD Porkchop and welcome to Star Citizen. For those of you that have never heard of Star Citizen, I wanted to throw a quick introduction video together before I went on to actually making some content about it, so that anyone who maybe hasn't heard about this before can kind of be shown a little bit about what this game is all about. So where do I start? It's a space sim. It's a kind of combat role-playing game. It's built on a modified CryEngine by the makers of the old Wing Commander games from the 1990s. Most notably would be Chris Roberts, who's then went on to make the Wing Commander films, and I mean that whole franchise was relatively well known in the 1990s. He kind of disappeared away off from the gaming scene and has come back, and this is his new project. So it's been going for a couple of years now, but just recently he has definitely begun to gather steam. The game is split into two sections. The first is a single-player, story-driven campaign called Squadron 42. This is the part that's kind of closest to the original Wing Commanders and is seen as sort of the successor of those games. It stars some big names, the main one being, well for me at least, being Mark Hamill, who starred in the original Wing Commander games, but he's also probably slightly better known as Luke Skywalker. Other stars include Gary Oldman, who played Commissioner James Gordon in the Dark Knight trilogy. He was also in other great films, like he was in The Fifth Element. He played Sirius Black in Harry Potter, I think. So he's another major star. You've got John Rhys-Davies. He was best known as Gimli in Lord of the Rings, and he also played a part in the Freelancer games, which was a Wing Commander spin-off from 2003. You've also got Mark Strong, who was in Game of Thrones, Gillian Anderson from The X-Files, and Andy Serkis, another Lord of the Rings cast member. He was Gollum in Lord of the Rings, and he was in Star Wars as well as in the latest one, The Force Awakens. He played Supreme Leader Snoke, the big tall bad guy. So yeah, I mean that's a impressive cast. You know, even if you were making a film, that's an impressive cast. But to have that in a game is crazy. You know, that's almost unheard of. So they're all getting brought together to bring a story about enlisting in the UEE Navy, which we'll get into in just a second. But I think that you have to just take a second to think to yourself, if that's the level of cast that's being thrown into this game, and it's all being done through motion capture, like they stick in ping pong balls themselves and stuff. I've seen some videos of it. It looks quite interesting. But then the storyline that is going to come with this game, I hope and I expect, will be fairly impressive. So as I said, the storyline centers on you joining the United Empire of Earth Navy, or the UEE, and will be spread over 3 episodes. The first is expected, hopefully, at the end of this year, although I'm kind of, I don't know if they're going to be able to make that deadline. I hope so, and I think they're really pushing towards it, but there is a lot that needs to get done. During your time in the UEE, you're going to be fighting an alien invasion. You're going to be alongside wingmen wingmen and women aboard a carrier that's kind of patrolling the border. And you're going to, as I said, it's going to be a story-driven game with these fantastic cast of actors and actresses. So hopefully something very impressive. Some of the strengths are the amount of kind of history and lore that's getting pumped into this. I mean, they've written a history book that goes back 20 or 30 years before the game is set. They've gone and made fully fledged alien languages that you can actually go and learn to speak. It's a living, breathing game. And something that Chris Roberts has kind of said from the start is the game has to feel immersive. Everything has a reason and is working, and how can I put it? The game is if you feel that you are actually in that world, then he feels he's done his job. You know, it's as pushing as far into the immersive kind of game world as you possibly can. Which is why, I mean, one of the things they've said is it's going to be VR compatible, which is how, at the moment, you push that kind of immersion. The graphics as well, absolute kind of cutting edge of what is possible at the moment, and that adds to that immersion. The fidelity, that's the kind of big word that they're using with this game, is fidelity. The level of detail that is in this game, and it's impressive. I mean, every single surface, every item, you know, from down to the last nuts and bolts, are highly detailed. Each ship you walk through is amazing. It's jaw-droppingly beautiful, and I hope, you know, from some of this footage that I've sort of just thrown together, which is all in game, by the way, this is all footage recorded by me on my computer. This isn't stuff that I've taken from their website or anything like that. You know, this is the game as it is right now in its alpha. You know, it's still very much unpolished, unfinished. There is bugs, there is problems, but the level of graphics and the level of detail that is in there is, you know, amazing. The ships are just a work of art. Whether you're piloting them, whether you're manning the gun turrets, you're working in the engine room, everything is functional. Everything has a reason. You know, if a bullet rips through your hull and hits a pipe, that pipe does something, and it's now, you know, if that pipe goes to your engine, you've lost power to your engine. If that pipe goes to your, you know, a life support system, you're going to start leaking oxygen. You know, every single cable, every pipe, everything has a reason to be there, and that level of detail is something I haven't really seen before in a game like this. It is pretty crazy. So, you know, everything, even like down to the physics of the game. You know, if your engines, if you try to bank too quickly, you know, and your engine doesn't have enough power to do it, you know, everything, all the nozzles on the what they call thrusters, all the thrusters move and work into that physics engine. You know, so the ship can't do impossible things. The game is designed to be true to physics, you know. So I think that's another thing, that when you're flying the ships, especially some of the bigger ones, you know, you can feel them. It becomes, you have that level of interaction that it feels real, you know. So it's impressive, and I wouldn't be making this video if I didn't enjoy these games. I've dumped a horrendous amount of money into this as well, so I kind of feel I'm obliged to make some videos on it. So the second part of the game is going to be the MMO. It's kind of like an MMO-ish. It's not single shard, but I think for a game at this level, you're not ever going to be able to get it to a single shard server. It's persistent universe. The universe is populated with NPCs, so it's once again a living, breathing world. And as a player, you can take up trades that list from mercenary, pirate, trader, miner, marine, salvager, explorer, hauler, and that's just a few. I mean, there are loads more, loads and loads more. This is the kind of meat and potato of the whole series. This is where the real kind of depth of the game gets even better. You know, take everything that we just talked about, all those graphics, all that fidelity, all the stuff that's getting poured into the single player aspect of the game, and then double it, throw it into an MMO that you can play with your friends, and that's what you get. You know, Star Citizen, the MMO part, is the bit that really excites me. And it's a long way off yet. You know, it's currently in its beta 2.4, which is only just added in things like the persistence. It's only, you know, half of the ships aren't even flyable yet. You know, there are still a lot of things that they're working towards, but it's a game that is taking form. You know, with the MMO side, you can gather your friends together, and you know, some of the ships are just little single fighters. and some of them are these huge, big, kilometer-long battleships. You know, so if you've got 2 or 3 friends, go fly a squadron together. You know, if you've got a whole group of you, like a gaming clan or something, you can take on one of the big Idaruses, which is the big battle frigates, which takes a crew of 20. You know, it has 10 turrets on it. It has an engine room that needs people to be continuously working in. You have pilots, a comm officer, all these people that are going to be working together to make this ship work on a level that has never really been done before. You know, as I've mentioned on this channel before, I'm an EVE Online player, and I played on EVE Online for 5 years, and never did I see something where you'd be able to work as closely together as this. And this is coming from EVE Online, where we used to have fleets of 5,000 people, you know, where working together was something very important about that game, and it was the part that I enjoyed the most. This takes all of that to a different level. And I think that if you look in the kind of space game genre at the moment, nothing else is coming close. Elite Dangerous, as much as it's kind of in the same ballpark, I think it falls short. I own Elite Dangerous, and the joke with that game is that, you know, it's a mile wide and an inch deep. And Star Citizen, I think that the universe isn't the same size. It is a lot smaller, but the depth of the game is so much deeper, you know. And so they've gone the other way, and I feel this way is maybe better. And now, you know, all the Elite Dangerous fans out there, it's still a great game, but I don't think it touches this. You know, so to give you a few examples of some of the stuff you can do is things like, you know, as I said before, you know, flying ships together or flying fleets together. But what about things like mining? You know, you have these huge big mining ships that take a crew of 5, but you also need, you know, a fighter wing protecting you from pirates. You need an explorer out there looking for the asteroids for you to go and mine. You need a hauler there to pick up the stuff and take it back. You know, and once again, the kind of thing that I kind of touch on from my experiences is EVE Online and doing, you know, some of the big mining fleets and big where you had, you know, an orca and haulers and everything. You know, take all of that, put it into a highly detailed single, you know, first-person game, and you have this. You know, it's completely mind-blowing. Some of the other stuff you can do is shipboarding. You know, that has a first-person shooter element where you can fly up alongside an enemy ship, latch on, and then get your Marines to board and storm the ship, capture the ship, you know. So you take something that is a fighter pilot game, a space sim game, and turn it into a first-person capture the flag game, you know. It's so much level, so much detail, and so many different things rolled into one. You know, the exploration side of this game is huge. You need to go and map jump points and find wormholes and go land on new planets, and then the planets are detailed where you can find new plants and new species of alien and bugs and all sorts of stuff. You've got trading where it's going to be an active working economy, and you can buy up product A for X amount of money, fly halfway across the universe and sell it, you know, for twice the price on a different site, you know, different planet, and so that straight away you've got you know, trade lines that are going to naturally evolve, and then from that you have pirates, you have, you know, security forces patrolling that. The game becomes, you know, self-generating. The content becomes self-generating. So that really excites me as well. I think all you have to do is look at the crowdfunding for this game. It's already quite well documented in the news that this is one of the biggest crowdfunded thing of all time. 100 million. Sorry, it's at the moment I think it sits at about $110 million in crowdfunding. Its original Kickstarter was I think they gathered about 2 million from the Kickstarter and another 4 million from like their website Kickstarter. So their initial month of launch, they gathered around $6 million, and that's continued to climb and climb and climb. And I think that, where is that money going? Well, monthly updates, the amount of content that is, it started as a trickle, it is now a torrent. The 2.4 is the largest update I've seen since the 2.0 release. They are releasing a new ship almost every month now, or every 2 months. I mean, we had the Freelancer, not the Freelancer, the Starfarer came out this month. Once again, if you're new to this game, you probably don't know what these ships are, but one called the Starfarer came out this month. Next month we have another one coming out. So the ships are coming out steadily, the updates are coming out steady, and the content is coming out steady. So that money is showing. I think everything about this game excites me, and there's very few games. The only other one that I'm kind of really excited for is No Man's Sky. I love space games, and I think that this is going to be the pinnacle, not only of space games, but of the graphics in this place. They took the facial recognition graphic stuff from what's the game called? Rise of Rome, I think it was called, and they sort of doubled it. They've made it twice as good. The level of, as I keep saying, the level of detail, the level of graphics, the fidelity, the immersion, it's all there, and there's nothing else like it. So anyway, I've babbled at you for long enough. I kind of wanted this to just be an intro, because I'm going to now, off the back of this, I'll make, I do a tour around my hangar, show you some of the ships I have. We'll probably go and do some missions or something. These videos aren't going to be a series, it's just going to be kind of drop one in here and there. But it's a game that I'm excited about, as I've, babbled the last 20 minutes about. And so I felt, I definitely had to go and make videos of this. So stay tuned for more of this kind of content. It is coming. I think the 2.4 release is literally being released, I think, either today, tomorrow. It's going to be in the next couple of days. And with that, the kind of the MMO and the persistence comes. And so it makes it easier to do videos about it, where before it was maybe quite alpha-y and there wasn't a lot of content to show off. But definitely from 2.4 onwards there is. So I think I've probably missed tons and tons of stuff that I meant to talk about. Hopefully we will cover it in other episodes. But this, like I said, it's just a quick kind of ta-da, here, have a look. And we can move on and make kind of more in-depth videos about specific parts. So I've been JD Porkchop. This has been Star Citizen, an introduction. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, a like and a subscribe would be really appreciated. It does help my channel. And I will catch you up with more content soon, guys. See you later.